This podcast may contain paid advertisements, but more on that later. Welcome to the O'Connor Bootstrap podcast, where I discuss the nuts and bolts of business and leadership, with a focus on bootstrapping a business from the ground up. This podcast is for all entrepreneurs, bootstrappers, and leaders in all walks of life. My goal is to help you grow both personally and professionally. I am your host, Isaiah O'Connor. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Audible is my absolute favorite sponsor, as you probably can tell, since they're pretty much the only sponsor I talk about. I'm still working with my other sponsors a little bit, Listenable.io. I'm still working on something there, but I really do love Audible. I've had them for so long. They've really helped me improve my business. A lot of the content I have for you guys comes from the books I've listened to on Audible. A lot of the information I got that I'm presenting to you comes from Audible. I highly, highly recommend it. It is an amazing place to go to get good information. Now, the book today I'm going to recommend is EntreLeadership by Dave Ramsey. It talks about how he took his business from a card table in the kitchen to a massive company with over 500 employees. The struggles, the lessons he learned, the lessons about leadership, the lessons about growing, the lessons about marketing. It's an amazing book. If you're a bootstrapper and you want to grow, you want to learn about leadership, it's an amazing book. Go check it out. EntreLeadership by Dave Ramsey. And as always, you can get a free trial and a free copy of EntreLeadership by going to audible.com/bootstrap with a capital B. And when you do that, you can sign up and get a free 30-day trial. You get one book, you get 2 Audible originals, and you get to keep the book and the Audible originals forever. And then you can also listen to their streaming library that they now have. And you can listen to a lot of other things, podcast, other books they have streaming. It's just amazing. Really, really good deal. And then after that 30-day trial, it's only $14.95 a month. Well worth it. I have well over 100 books from them. I've had them for years. It is my favorite thing to get, even as a gift. You can gift people credits. It's amazing. Go check it out. Audible.com/bootstrap. Now, let's get into this. I like movies. I like shows. Not that I get to go often, but I've actually participated in dramas and theater presentations with my church and school and missions trip. And of course, I've done clowning and some other performance-based things. And one thing that we talked about, me and Harrison, was how when you mess up something, you keep going as if you meant to do that so that the audience doesn't catch on, because the show must go on. Same thing with theater. If you see an actor and if they miss a line, they forget their line, if they're really good, they can just fake it and keep going. Or the other people can say something else to remind them of their line in such a way that the audience is none the wiser. So the show must go on. You don't stop in the middle. If you make a mistake, you just keep going. Now, what is my point on this? Kind of briefly brushed over it with that interview with Harrison. And the thing is, the most important thing is that your client is very pleased with you. And if you're working with your client and you're an expert in a field, the odds are the client won't notice small mistakes you make that are not perfect. I've talked about this before about perfectionism holding us back. And this is one of those things where you might realize that you messed something up on a small level. You might notice a small little detail. But because it's a detail that you alone would notice, the customer doesn't know about it. Don't stress. Easier said than done, I know. But for an example, in the balloon world, I've seen story after story, and I've experienced it myself. I've seen post after post where they go, look at this hot mess. I really struggled with this one. I failed on this item. I failed on that item. I didn't like the way this looked. They insisted using these colors. They were ugly together, but the customer loved it. But the customer thought it was amazing. The customer says they're always going to use me. The customer keeps rehiring me over and over and over again, where the professional thought they messed up, but the customer loved it. Absolutely loved it. And that's a good thing, that the customer's happy. That's the biggest thing you want to do, is make your customer happy. And with the balloons, there's another point there. Odds are, with the balloon world, most people don't see the mistakes that another balloon professional or even a balloon hobbyist will notice. For example, I posted a picture in one of the forums and said, hey, I messed this one. Anyone else see how I messed it up? And it was a pretty glaring mess up. And they all locked in on the one balloon that was out of place and a little bit too small. There was actually a bigger mess up that was very, very obvious. The bottom part of the structure was missing completely. And they didn't catch that, which is really funny. They missed, it was the force of the tree thing, but they all noticed the balloon that was the wrong color and too small in the wrong spot. I mean, just slightly too small too, like a quarter of an inch. And even then, it was just an optical illusion when you look at the picture. But professionals will notice little details. I've shown pictures of my work, and they go, "Oh, did you mean to do that?" I'm like, "Mean to do what?" Like, reverse the pattern there. I'm like, "Huh?" And I look, and I reverse the pattern in the wrong spot. And the balloon professionals caught it within seconds. The client, man, that's amazing. That's the most amazing balloon I've ever seen. So, balloon professional people, hobbyists will catch little details. But the good news is, your clients, odds are they're your client because they're not a professional. That's kind of the point. They hire you to do something they themselves cannot do as well, or do not have the time to do themselves, so they're relying on professional to do it. And your main goal is to make sure that client is very happy. You provide great customer service, you make a good connection with that customer, you can make good rapport, and you just really impress that customer with everything else. And then you provide them the best service possible. And if you make a small mistake, not a catastrophic mistake, there's a difference. You make a small mistake, you inflate a balloon and it comes in a quarter of a centimeter less than you're supposed to be, or some small little detail that will drive you crazy for weeks on end because you see it in the photo afterwards. Doesn't matter. If the product you give the customer makes them feel like they've received more in value than they paid for in money, you will have won a customer for life. Don't beat yourself up over it. The show must go on. You need to, of course, work on becoming better and better and better and provide excellence. And again, not a catastrophic failure. Customer hires you to, one of my worst days, inflate the words for the school, and they bought the balloons, but they only bought one of the balloons, and one of the balloons popped, and I couldn't finish putting the words to the school, so I couldn't actually finish the job. That was a catastrophic failure. That was bad. The customer noticed immediately. I wasn't able to fulfill my promise, and I had to give them a huge discount and then a gift card afterwards, and I felt horrible about it. I'm not talking about a catastrophic failure. I'm talking about a little detail, a little slip. If you're a magician, you slip, you drop a card, just recover, and you keep going. You keep rolling with it. If you're making something and you accidentally use a little bit too much of this, a little bit too little of that, as long as it's not something that's going to ruin the whole thing and the customer loves it, don't stress about the little details. Now, of course, you always want to get the details right. It kind of comes with the job. Of course, you want to do as best you can, but don't stress if you mess up something. For example, say you're a florist and you're supposed to cut the rose stems to precise 12 inches in length and you accidentally cut them to 11 inches. That's not a catastrophic failure. Odds are, if the customer is buying just a bunch of roses to take to their spouse, then great. It's not a big deal. Their girlfriend, whatever. If it's a little short, not a big deal. You'll be kicking yourself for it, but not a big deal. These little things you don't sweat. So I guess I could also title this podcast episode, Don't Sweat the Little Things, because it's the little things I'm talking about. It's these little details that may drive you or another professional crazy, but the customer will have not a clue. And it's not important that the customer doesn't have a clue that you messed up. What's important is that the customer's happy with your work. That's the most important thing. As long as the customer's happy with your work, then you, of course, have done your job. So, just a short little one. Hope you enjoyed that. I hope that just encourages you not to sweat over little stuff. Remember, the customers don't know what to expect. As long as you provide them excellent service and improve time after time after time and stay consistent, they will be happy. Don't stress. Don't beat yourself up. Show must go on. You have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. If you found value in this content, please leave a comment and give us a 5-star rating on whichever podcast platform you use. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and most other podcast platforms. If you would like to support us, you can check out our sponsor links, or if you would like to directly support the show, you can donate or join our membership program at buymeacoffee.com/bootstrap. Of course, it really helps when you share these podcasts as well. If you would like to interact with me and other bootstrappers and leaders, you can join our O'Connor Bootstrap Podcast Facebook group. You have been listening to the O'Connor Bootstrap Podcast and Atheoz Business Solutions Podcast. For our companion podcast, the Atheoz Business Podcast, hosted by Jason St. Clair, past episodes, and related blogs, check out our website at www.atheoz.com, which is www.atheoz.com, or theoz.com. Until next time, I've been your friendly neighborhood entrepreneur, Isaiah O'Connor.